Okay, it looks like we are live. Hello, everyone. We are live here on Instagram, on Facebook, and on YouTube. And fingers crossed that this will look better, that we're getting some of the bugs out of this process. But I'm glad that you are here to talk about stop wasting your time, managing your time. And many of you are like, Nancy, from a procrastination standpoint, that makes absolutely no sense. But we're going to dig into this and get going. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nancy Michele. I am a women's empowerment coach. I've spent 25 years managing projects in different leadership positions in the engineering and oil and gas industry. And I am here now to help you with procrastination. As somebody who has run multi-million-dollar projects, there's always parts of those projects that we all procrastinate on. And there are tips and tricks that I have learned over the years of being a project manager that I thought I would bring, because a lot of the time that we get into managing projects and looking at procrastination, one of the things people do is talk about scheduling time. And what I really, really want to do is get people to stop realizing that they can manage time. Guess what? I'm going to give you a newsflash. There are 24 hours in a day. There are 60 minutes in an hour. There are 60 seconds in a minute. And no offense, but we can't change the physical clock. It turns and turns and turns, and twice a year it alternates by an hour, and you gain and you lose. But overall, you cannot manage time. And so I really, really would like to break people's habit of trying to manage time, trying to manage something that is very strict and on schedule, and that is not designed to manage. And so we have these things in our brain, right? We have these messages and these rules that people have told us that stop us from succeeding in life. And so when I talk about procrastination, one of the things that I find is people start talking about scheduling, and they're like, I've got all of these things that I need to do. And we pile every little piece of information. And some people will get out sticky notes and they'll literally have every hour of their day blocked off. I want you to actually consider, what would it be like if you could throw away the calendar or the daily plan of activities and actions, and you just got to have some freedom? So in my program, when I coach people and when I work with people, and even when I run major projects in the past in the oil and gas industry, I try to work with my team and my staff on a different concept. So instead of planning our activities, what I try and do is ask my staff to think of what is one thing that they're going to get accomplished that day. And just focus on it. Just work through that one thing. Because here's the deal. When you choose one thing that you need to get done, and you actually plan and spend time doing it, you will actually feel so much better because that thing is done. Now, if that one thing takes like hours and hours or days to do, then that's when I get my clients to do what I call my 90-minute rule, or the shortening of their program. And what I try and get them to do is actually block time, no more than 3 activities, and book no more than half a day, 4.5 hours max in their time on working on these activities. And they break these activities up into chunks of about 90 minutes. So why do I choose things like 90 minutes? Why do I get people to block only half a day? When I coach people, it takes a while for people to get into this process, to feel comfortable with this, because it's like, oh, only blocking half a day. So I want you to think about it. If you actually had ever worked on a Saturday or a day where nobody else is around to bother you, I want you to think about how much work do you get done in that period. I personally have worked on and I apologize for having some connection issues, but it doesn't seem to be as bad. I'm going to guess it's on Facebook. But when I practice with my team and with the people I coach, one of the things I try and get them to do is being used to being able to block a chunk of time. And when you can block something like 90 minutes or even 60 minutes, if that's more comfortable for you at the start, what happens is you actually get a lot done. And so what my clients do, and works really, really well, is they'll take a timer out and they'll set the timer down and say, I'm going to work on that activity for the next 90 minutes. Now, why is this important? Well, it's important because if you can focus on something, if you can choose to actually go, you know what, I'm going to sit here and just focus on this activity for 90 minutes. At the end of 90 minutes, one thing, you're like, okay, I don't have to deal with it anymore today. And then maybe I'll come back and do 90 minutes tomorrow if it carries on or if it's a project. But what's really important is just seeing that and blocking that time. Now, what happens is if you can do that by doing things, turning off your cell phone, making sure all other distractions are turned off, so your computer, messaging, email, all of those things. Say, if I could live without answering the phone, answering email, doing these things for 90 minutes and just focus, just think of how much you could get done. Think about how freeing it is once you've completed it. And what happens is you get into what's known as flow. And so if you start to do work on something, it takes about 25 minutes to get yourself into a state of flow. So think about this. Anytime that you're working away at an activity and somebody interrupts you, or an email dings, or a message pops up, what happens is you get out of flow, and it takes you another 25 minutes to get up to speed, to get up to doing things at the right process. So if you think about it from a procrastination standpoint, if you could just sit down and say, you know what, I'm going to choose this time to work on the activity that is frustrating you or stressing you out. All they have to do is 90 minutes on it. At the end of 90 minutes, I am done for the day. And get yourself in process. Just sit there and start working your way through it for the 90 minutes period of time. And you know what? Even if you don't do anything, so there's a really great writer, and I can't remember his name, unfortunately. He wrote a book called The Art of War, I believe. And he said that he would get up and he would start his day and he would be like, okay, my time is to write. And he would be in this writer's block. And even if I chose to sit there and do absolutely nothing for that 90 minutes, as long as I chose not to get distracted, at some point I would actually start to write in his process. Now, I think he did like 4 hours blocks of time, but I'm just trying to get you to do 90 minutes. So what I want you to do is think about what are the 3 main goals what are the 3 things that you're working on, that's working to do? And take all of the rest of the goals, I don't care if you write them on a piece of paper, put them in a scrapbook, whatever they are, don't worry about those other goals. What I want you to do is just focus on your 3 main goals and focus for 90 minutes. And do this every day, only for 5 days a week. So what happens when you do focus on 90 minutes for 3 different goals, you book about 4.5 hours of activity. That gives you freedom now to do whatever it is you want. So you may be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to book and sit down and do that work for 90 minutes. And then I will be able to answer emails. I'll be able to go on Facebook. I can sit and watch Netflix 4 hours. I don't really care what you do. What's cool is that the more you get into the habit of booking that little bit of time, booking that 90 minutes for yourself to do your goal, your accomplishment, you start to boost you start to feel good with the activities that you're doing, with the work that you're doing, and you will be shocked at how much you can accomplish in that 90 minutes. One of my clients actually started to go, I'm curious to see how much I can do in 90 minutes. And she said she had an activity that she needed to do for her business. And it was a series of prepping and getting her IT kind of working for her business. And she kept putting it off, putting it off. She had tons of emails that she needed to go through, tons of things that she needed to go through, but she was like, it was just so big and so much to do that she was just resisting and resisting. And we all feel that at times, right? Things that we resist because it seems so big. But what I had her do is I'm like, I only want you to book 90 minutes. And if that means you get through one email and learn one little tip today about how to get this tool up and running, then just do that. And then the next day do it. And then the next day do it. And book it in for 5 days and get it done. And then the next week, do the same thing. She was shocked at how quick she was able to actually get through it once she started working in this 90-minute perspective. And she also noticed that when somebody started to interrupt her, instead of being irritable because of having all of these things in her head that she needed to do, she was able to have a clear conversation with that person and say, you know what, I need about 20 more minutes here. As soon as I finish this, I will gladly come help you. Because she knew she had ample time to be able to answer and respond to other people's needs and wants and things that they were looking for from. She was able to start to sit and say, you know what, Sunday afternoons, I'm just going to watch movies and really enjoy it and not feel guilty because all of the pressure of the things that she hadn't got done. When we start to block time and start to put in the hours just to do the things that need to be done for ourselves and prioritize that first, all of a sudden, we have so much more time to invest in others, to support us, to do things that are really exciting for other people. And so I want you to think about if you manage to do all of your work in only 4.5 hours a day, what would you do with the rest of the time? How would you feel if you could go maybe have lunch with a girlfriend every day because you've got your key 3 things prioritized and you're going to get those done, and you're not trying to manage a schedule of like one activity after the next activity after the next activity, or this long list of to-dos that we have a tendency to overput on our plate. So I want you to think this week, and if you really want to dive more into this, into the science behind this, into why these processes work and improve your procrastination, I am opening the doors for a brand new program on procrastination. This program is going to be it's going to be kick-ass. And why is it going to be kick-ass? Because what's going to happen in it is the first thing that we'll do is I'm going to work with you privately in what's known as an RTT session using rapid transformational therapy. And we're going to find out what is your key trigger. What is that key trigger that you are doing? And we're going to rewrite and rewire your mind around that trigger. So what is that message that you're being told? Maybe that message is you have to work hard to achieve. And the concept of working 4.5 hours and achieving greater results may seem like counterintuitive and very, very uncomfortable. So whatever that message is, we're going to work on that, and so that you can overcome that programming that is in your mind. The second thing that will happen is you're going to get your own personalized transformation recording. So this is not based on the group. This is not based on anybody else's desires. The transformational recording that you get as part of this program is so specific to you. And we do that by me working with you to try and figure out what you picture your future will be like. And so anybody who's ever seen hypnosis stage shows will know that you can get people to do kind of crazy things. But what if you could take a hypnosis recording that is designed specifically for you to help you achieve the goals and the results that you want, to make you realize that your mind and body experience like you're there already. And all you have to do is lie down comfy in your chair and listen to your own personalized recording, very, very specific for you. I actually had a client send me a message about her transformational recording going, you must be a psych or something, because here she is sitting on the beach, actually sitting on a dock by a boat, and somehow I had put all of this into the recording when she had asked for it. And she's like, here I am doing my yoga on the dock and by a boat, and she was living in Canada and had moved to Florida to have this experience just before COVID hit. So imagine if you could have something like that, some cool experience specifically related to you. The next is you will get into my 8-week self-esteem booster program. What happens when we start to procrastinate is we actually start to go backwards and cycle backwards on our self-esteem. And in some cases, it's self-esteem and that self-esteem that causes us to stay in the cycle of procrastination. So when we boost our self-esteem, when I help my clients boost their self-esteem through doing things such as managing your time, overcoming procrastination, being able to find your voice and strength in you, to be able to ask for the things that you want and need, oh my gosh, the world starts to become incredible. And so we go into that portion of the process, and you will change, you will become happier, more confident, and develop this amazing respect for yourself. As well, you will have group coaching where you'll be brought into a group where you'll be able to share this knowledge, because one of the things that's really, really important for me is that when you leave my coaching programs, when you go off to the world, that you're able to share this with your friends and your family and help coach them. And ironically, one of my clients just recently did that this week, and she said her friend just felt so much better. So just think about how when you learn to communicate, when you learn to overcome procrastination of the things that are holding you back, how much better life will be and how much better you can help others in your circle to be. The other really cool thing that is super, super important to me as part of this program is we take one of your things that you're procrastinating on. And maybe there's two, but we take one of those things, and in this program, our goal over the 8 weeks is to get you from start to finish, so that you can actually complete that thing that you are procrastinating on. And think about the win, think about the relaxation in the stress. Because when you get to solve something, when you get to finish something, when you get to really resolve that procrastination, you will benefit huge. And once you've learned to do it once and your self-esteem is up, guess what? You'll be able to do it over and over and over again and apply these techniques so that you can kick the concept of procrastination to the curb. Today, our focus was on blocking time, and I am grateful to have you here, and thank you very much. Join me tomorrow I haven't yet decided what the topic will be, but I'm really excited to talk about procrastination, about ways that I can help you overcome procrastination. And if you want to know more about the program, if you want to be considered in the program, because it will be a small group, I'm not taking a huge group, but if you are really struggling with procrastination, reach out. I am here to take your hand and walk you through the process, because it is not something that you are. It is something that is emotionally and mentally set into your mind and into the way that you have been brought up and trained and taught to be. So I want to teach you. I want to show you, and I want you to re-engage who you are, because once you do that, you will love to show up every day. You'll be excited. You will accomplish more. And more importantly, you will have more time to spend with those that you love, those that are friends. You'll be able to communicate better with them. It is amazing what will happen when you start to fall back in love with yourself in this progression program. Cheers. Have a lovely evening. I am off to the gym soon, and I look forward to your comments. So put some comments, put some feedback below, and I will check in. Cheers.